Hey, what's up everyone? This is Jerry from the StogieReview.com bringing another video cigar review. And my cigar review this week is going to be of the Rocky Patel Honduran Classic. I know it's kind of hard to see. The band's a deep blue and gold band that's kind of reflective off the light. It's a pain in the ass, so I'm not sure you can really pick it up there on the camera. It's even more of a pain in the ass to get a still shot of it, even with a digital SLR. This, like I said, it's the Rocky Patel Honduran Classic. It's exclusive over at Famous Smoke Shop. It comes in at 6.5 inches. This is the Toro size. It comes in at 6.5 inches long with a 52-inch ring gauge. You can also find these available in a Robusto and Torpedo size, Bellicoso size. This is the Maduro version. There's also a natural Corojo wrapper. Famous is kind of a little iffy on the makeup of the cigar, so it doesn't tell me if it's a Connecticut broadleaf Maduro, a Brazilian Maduro, a Costa Rican Maduro, whatever. It just says it's a Maduro. It does feature a filler made up of Honduran and Nicaraguan tobacco. I've had a few of these since they've been out, and I've also tried. Famous also has the other lines, exclusive Famous lines like the Rocky Patel American Market Selection, the Rocky Patel Cuban Selection, and there's one other one I'm forgetting. I think it's the Corojo, not the Corojo, Rosado. So Famous has pretty much a lot of these guys, a lot of different blends by Rocky exclusively, which I've tried most of them. I've tried all of them, and so I think this might be a series of reviewing all of those, as well as just like I'm working on that series with the CI Legend series, which I really need to get back on. I know I've been getting a lot of emails about that. Anyways, I'm going to take a quick production break, gather all my accessories I need for this review, and when we come back, we'll smoke and enjoy, and smoke and see if we enjoy the Rocky Patel Honduran Classics, and I have a few comments about what I think about Rocky's some of Rocky's latest releases and my opinion on those. So hang tight. It'll only be a couple seconds for you, and I'll be right back. All right. I am back. Been enjoying my Rocky Patel Honduran Classic here for a little while, and the base flavors on this guy, or the initial flavors on this guy, it starts off as a real earthy tobacco taste. Then after a few puffs, you start developing this slight, not anything significant, or overpowering, but a slight peppery taste here to it, kind of just enough to pique your interest, kind of just enough to get your attention and be like, makes you pay attention to the cigar, since it starts off kind of I don't want to say bland, or kind of bland, but it just starts off with that typical earthy tobacco flavor. Nothing very exciting about the initial flavor there, and then it has a little bit of pepperiness to grab your attention. Now, everybody knows I'm a big Rocky Patel fan. Some might even call me a little Rocky Patel whore. That's fine. I might even do it myself. But I gotta tell you, a lot of the new stuff by I don't know why it's like this, but a lot of the new stuff by Rocky Patel, I'm not very impressed by. Whether it's the Rocky Patel R4 or the Rocky Patel Signature or the Rocky Patel. Excuse me, he doesn't have a cigar named Excuse Me, but the Rocky Patel Decade. Even going back to the Rocky Patel Fusion that got released like a year or so ago, or not close, a little while ago, 6-8 months ago. I just haven't been impressed. I don't know if even the Vintage 99 I wasn't very impressed by. I think the last cigar that Rocky put out that I was impressed by was the Old World Reserve, and I don't know if this has to do with Jesus Fuego going out and blending for his own line, or not blending for Rocky Patel anymore. I don't know if that has something to do with it or not, but just some of his newer cigars just aren't. I'm just not such a fanboy about it anymore. I wish I could be. Sometimes I'll go to a cigar shop or go to an event, and you start talking to other guys about what cigars you like, and you mention Rocky Patel, and people are like, don't really think he's a nice guy, but some of his cigars, they just don't do it for him. Most people just usually like the 90 or 92 vintage series, and don't really like anything else. There's the Edge and the Edge Light. I know I haven't reviewed it, but I like those cigars as well. It's just some of the newer things, like I said, like starting with the Fusion and going forward. I just haven't been too impressed with Rocky's offerings, and I don't know why. I hope whatever it is, whether it's new blenders or whatever, that it doesn't start affecting some of his lines that I've grown to fall in love with, like the Sungrown, the Vintage 9092, the Nording by Rocky Patel, the Rocky Patel Connecticut. What am I thinking? It's one of my favorite cigars that I've forgotten about. So I don't know. That's my little Rocky Patel rant, if you want to call it a rant, but it's more of just a commentary on some of Rocky's latest offerings. And I don't know. Some of the people I've talked to in cigar shops seem to agree with me. About it. You might disagree with me, and that's fine. That's why I do these reviews. I don't expect everyone to always agree with my review of a cigar or my opinion on whatever I'm talking about. So if you got a different opinion, hey, feel free to use the comment section and voice your opinion differing from mine. Anyways, folks, I'm gonna sit back, smoke my Rocky Patel Honduran Classic. I'll come back around when I get to about the halfway point of this guy and check in then. So hang tight, and I'll be back in a few moments. All right, I am back. A little past the halfway point here of my Rocky Patel Honduran Classic. So far so good. It's gotten to the best point of the cigar, that sweet spot of the cigar. Like I talked about earlier, it starts off a very earthy flavor, a little bit of pepperiness just to grab your attention, and then it returns back to that firm earthy flavors. But when you get towards the halfway point here, it gets that sweet spot. And when I mean sweet spot, I mean it's just fantastic flavors. I mean, that earthiness, there's some creaminess that starts getting added to it, and then it slowly becomes like a caramelized flavor that's just one very good flavor. That's just really, really smooth, really yummy. Yummy, yeah, I said yummy. Really yummy. It's the sweet spot. It's it's the part of the cigar that I just wait for. That I was just waiting to come, and every time I get to it, I'm just like, wow, yeah, this is why I like this cigar, and I'm there. It's kind of like being in a little trance here. But yeah, so that earthiness is still there, but it's kind of changed to a creamy caramel earthiness that's just fantastic. As far as construction, I had one touch up I had to do, nothing major, but it's been burning pretty well. The ash is kind of a charcoaly look to it, and it's very loose. So if you, like me, who I don't tap that often, when you take a puff, some of the small ash will fly everywhere here. So construction seems to be spot on. A good easy draw throughout. But like I said in the beginning, it's not much to look at. I think Rocky Patel needs to do something, or Famous, whoever's responsible for it, needs to do something about the bands. Pain in the ass to catch on camera and a photograph. But even more so, it's not. There's nothing eye-catching about the band. Any of the bands from the Rocky Patel at Famous only, there's nothing eye-catching about it. Luckily they're only sold through Famous online, so you could get an up-close look at, and you know what you're buying. But if these were to be on a shelf in a humidor at a local B&M, I wouldn't take the time to. I know we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, so to speak, but if the cigar doesn't look very attractive to me, I tend not to pay too much attention. And this would be a cigar that if I saw on the shelf, I wouldn't pay so much attention to. But it's going great. Like I said, I'm in the sweet spot of the cigar so far. I'm going to continue on the sweet spot. I'm not going to waste my sweet spot time talking to you guys. I'm going to enjoy my enjoy my cigar here. I'll be back, final third, sum up the cigar, and give a couple shout outs that I'm way overdue in doing. So hang tight. We'll be back in a few. All right. I am back. Coming to the end of the sweet spot of my, sadly, coming to the end of my sweet spot of my Rocky Patel Honduran Classic here. Real quick, I need to give a couple shout outs. I need to first give a shout out to Chris Trotter over at the Cigar Alliance podcast. Now that I've been back, I've been trying to catch up on a lot of the cigar podcasts that I've missed. And Chris, like I said, does the Cigar Alliance podcast. And in episode 7, he took a moment of silence there for my son JJ when he passed, and smoked the Series JJ by Don Pepin, which I think the moment of silence and smoking the Series JJ was a great touch, and I can't thank Chris enough for that. So if you're not listening to the Cigar Alliance podcast, it's a great podcast to listen to. I know I listen to it. I think Walt listens to it. It's just a good podcast. I like the format that Chris uses. And I think you will too. So if you haven't checked out the Cigar Alliance podcast, you can get over to cigaralliance.com, and then it's also listed in the iTunes podcast directory there. I also needed to give a shout out and a big thank you to Joe in New Jersey on Twitter and on the fan forums. He's known as Captain Puff for sending me. I know he sent Walt and Brian the same package, but sending me a little bomb. By little, I mean just totally obliterated my bell box. And we're not talking, 5, 10, 15 cigars. We're talking a plethora of cigars here that I still haven't found a place for because I don't have any room left in my humidor. And thus I need to use some empty boxes here for temporary storage and get out there and find another humidor to store just what Joe sent me. So big thanks to Joe for that. Just a lot of great cigars. I see a Cielo America in there. I know there's a Rocky Patel Norte. I see a Tatawahe of some sort in there. There's a couple Camacho Legendario Maduros in there. I mean, I know there's an Ashton Heritage Pure Soul in there. Just a fantastic selection here of cigars that I can't wait to dive into. Lastly, episode 31, I know it was recorded a few days ago. It'll be posted on the site before this video airs, which means episode 32 is coming, my return to your questions, my answers. And I want to put out a plea there for questions. If you got a question, please use the contact form and submit it, or call in to the voicemail line, leave a voicemail, that'd be even better. But either way, send a voicemail, send a message, ask a question either way. Even if it's a question that we answered back in episode 9, I don't know. We're all the way up here to episode 32. We've become more knowledgeable and might be able to answer the question better or have a different take altogether on a question. So, if you got a moment, call into the voicemail, leave a voicemail, use the Stogie View contact form, submit a question, and for episode 32 of your questions, my answers. As far as what I've been smoking lately, been smoking a lot of my La Flor Dominicana Cameroon cabinets. Still can't get enough of those. Another cigar that I started smoking, staying here on the famous bandwagon, is the famous Dominican 2000s. I know everybody raves about the famous Nicaraguan 3000s, which are a great cigar, but if you're like me, like a more mild to medium-bodied cigar, I think you'll enjoy the famous Dominican 2000s. I know Walt reviewed it a while back. I'll probably review it in an upcoming review soon too, to give my little take on it as well. Went to a Perdomo event this week. Got to try the Perdomo Habano Maduro, which, which was just way too much cigar for me. I mean, it was a great cigar. It was a good tasting cigar, but just too much in the power department for me. Kind of, wanted me to go lay down somewhere. Not sickly, but just, kind of got me lightheaded and whatnot. I got a couple of the Connecticut wrapped ones, and looking forward to reviewing those as well. All in all, just to end the review here of the Rocky Patel Honduran Classic, I think it's a good cigar. Average price is about $5 a cigar. You get them in 5-packs from anywhere from $20 to $35, depending on what size you get. I think it's a solid cigar. The greatest part of the cigar is that sweet spot, that middle third of the cigar, where you get those caramelized flavors. I think those are just fabulous flavors. The first third, final third. The first third's a little boring. If it didn't have those little peppery notes in it, it wouldn't have kept my attention too much. The final third is just more of a creaminess. It kind of gets away from the caramelized taste, and goes back to like a creamy, earthy taste, which isn't bad. It's just a nice transition from the sweet spot. All in all, I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd buy a box, but I think a couple of these in the humidor wouldn't hurt you. The price tag on them is not too bad. So that's about it. So until next week, folks, that's going to do it for me. So take care, and until next time, as always, folks. Long ass.
Hay que cosechar, oui parler français, para alimentar, oui parler français, oui parler français, oui parler français. Dis-moi là, Salombi, ouais, monsieur. Bonsoir, messieurs.